Growing Up Nightclub. Chapter 5. Club.
It was late that summer when Dad and Virginia said they have something else they wanted to show us. We all piled into the van and made our way to downtown Gainesville. As we pulled up to an old brick building, my dad said,
"Here we are."
"What's going on?" I asked them. Virginia turned her head to look at us in the back of the van.
"This is what we want to show y'all."
What is it?
Mark asked.
"Come check it out."
Dad said as we piled out of the van. He unlocked the big wooden double doors and we all stepped inside the building as Virginia went around the corner and turned the lights on.
"Well, what do you think?"
Dad asked us excitedly. As my eyes scanned the interior, I realized that what we were standing in was a nightclub. The place was really cool. One entire wall next to the dance floor was 2 stories tall and made of solid, old original brick. The dance floor itself was made with parquet wood and took up about half of the downstairs. The ceiling above the dance floor was also 2 stories tall. It had old, thick wooden beams that were painted black with giant speakers and robotic lights hanging from it. Across the room was a balcony that ran the length of the building and looked down over the main dance floor. It was filled with tables and chairs and a couple pool tables. The DJ booth was also located upstairs overlooking the dance floor. Downstairs was wide open with the exception of 2 bars and an antique barber's chair tucked under the stairs. There was a small bar to the left after you walked down a short ramp from the front door. The main bar took up most of the back of the building. It was beautiful. It was elevated up a couple steps with a rail that separated the space in front of the main bar from the dance floor. There were 5 bartender stations spaced equally behind the bar. The shelves behind the bartender stations where the liquor bottles were displayed matched the bar top and took up the whole wall. They were at least 10 feet tall. There was a small kitchen behind the main bar, where the walk-in cooler and refrigerators were located, and another small room adjacent to that.
"This is what we have been working on at night all summer after we were off work from the post office. What do you think about it?"
Dad asked again. "This is yours?" I asked Dad and Virginia. Virginia answered,
"Yep."
What are y'all going to do with it?
Mark rang out as he was coming down from exploring the upstairs. My dad laughed and said,
"What do you think we're going to do with it? It's a nightclub."
"What are y'all going to name it?" I enthusiastically asked as I watched Kevin put a quarter into the pinball machine.
"We don't know yet."
Virginia replied. When do you plan on opening it?" I eagerly asked Virginia.
"Hopefully by the end of next month. We're still waiting on the state for our license."
She explained.
"We wanted you to go up to the DJ booth and make sure we wired all of the speakers up right. You know more about that kind of stuff than we do."
Virginia continued. "No problem," I enthusiastically said as I started making my way upstairs to the DJ booth. I was still too young and naive at the time to know to ask how they came up with the money to buy a nightclub when they worked for the post office. For some reason, it just seemed normal to me. Thinking back, it probably had something to do with Dad's connections back in Ohio, but it wasn't any of my business, so I never asked. As the summer ended, I was stuck with a choice: either stay with Dad and Virginia, which meant I would have to switch schools, or go back to live with Mom and my brothers and finish out high school where I grew up. After several discussions about it with Dad, I decided to bite the bullet and move back home so I could graduate with my friends. Upon returning home, my relationship with Mom was tumultuous at best. She started night courses and went back to college to become an occupational therapist. Melissa broke up with me shortly after I moved back home. She never really gave me a straight answer as to why. In the end, I think her parents didn't like the fact that we were so involved at such a young age and made her call it off with me. Nonetheless, I was brokenhearted and depressed for months. I would not let myself fall in love with anyone for many years after that because of it. I still think about her now and again to this day. In the middle of my sophomore year of high school, I landed my first real job. I had no idea that it would lead me down the path that it did.
End of Chapter 5. From here on out, chapters will be released once or twice a week, so make sure you hit the bell icon so you don't miss a single chapter. Or check back to the Pauper Poet YouTube channel often to catch what happens next. And don't forget to press the like button and subscribe if you have enjoyed the story so far. Thanks for your support.